Welcome to a game between MukeshBatra, here in red, starting hovercrafts, and with a Guardian commander, going against ATOSTIC in blue, starting ampbots, and a recon commander. So MukeshBatra requested this replay, and he wonders how to use dagger against ATOSTIC's ducks. Let's see how it plays out. It looks like MukeshBatra is going for an economic start, and on this map is a good choice. There's a lot of mexes and distance to cover to reach the position. I saw he did a little mistake there. His commander was walking a bit. He had placed the solar collector on position of his commander, so that made the commander walk here and wasted some time. That's something you can consider, like try to not place a building early game where your commander is positioned, because you lose a bit of time, and this early, that time matters. Making Lotus's turret is fine, especially if you're gonna be so greedy and expand in both directions. And yeah, and it looks like ATOSTIC has been even more greedy, making even two conscious at the start of the game. While you were gonna go for more raiding heavy approach, I guess. Yeah. At this point, I would want to send a scout forward to be able to know personally. I like to know what factor I'm facing. And also, I guess it's a bit of a reaction thing. Like these, I guess you're trying to protect this quill here. But yeah, you could also have your daggers up here, and they will spot incoming units much earlier. So if you have the attention, there's really better to have them up here. And you can scout all incoming units that way. I see you have your expanding units on high priority, that's good. And you're starting to make energy. But yeah, when you took those 4 mexes, yeah, your income increased a lot. So I would probably have spent some time with my commander, just building 1 or 2 solar collectors here in that situation, because this is gonna delay your economy quite a bit. 2 daggers against a duck. The daggers should win. Yeah, they win, but you lose 1 dagger. And that's the thing. Daggers will, ducks will generally win for cost, but daggers are so much faster that you can basically, you can be where you can outnumber the daggers. So yeah, you still need 4 shots to kill a dagger. A duck. But if you have 4 daggers, you can easily overrun a single duck like this, because you're so much faster with 142 elmos per second versus 90 elmos per second. So yeah, and yeah, this energy stall is really bad. You have put your con on expanding, your expanding con on trying to get some raiding done here. You have put your energy expanding con on high priority as well. Yeah, that's really necessary. As you're trying to get this conch, looks like these ducks are maybe gonna be... Oh, this is pretty close actually. Getting this con will be pretty big actually. Will you get it? Yeah, you get it. Nice. So that's a good kill. That's gonna slow down the enemy quite a bit. But yeah, you're still accessing because of this metal, this energy glut, this energy stall. So imagine like your commander is slow, so it takes a lot of time for him to expand. So that means he's wasting a lot of build power. That's the reason if you have a slow commander, you can use that and fast cons. Yeah, quills are gonna expand much faster. That means that if you just spend some extra time building like 2 or 3 solar collector here, that's fine. Like in this position, it would have prevented you from getting into this heavy energy stall. And it would have prevented you from accessing so much metal. Yeah. And also at the point, this map is kind of like, yeah, it's kind of eco-heavy, so overdrive is a thing. Just making like 2-3 solar collectors at these max cluster is worth quite a lot. Yeah. Actually, if you force fire ground here, you can actually hit this Lotus turret. So that's the thing you can do. And it looks like ducks are missing quite a bit. I don't really, yeah. It's tricky to deal with ducks in general, like this. And now, why is your commander so far back? It should be here contest. Oh, you're force firing the ground, that's nice. Yeah, I don't really think he should be here contesting with his commander, I think. Like maybe building a picket there and trying to force him back. Being this far back, it's a waste of his potential, I think. Like, you want to be putting on pressure with your commander. Like, now the enemy is pressuring your Stardust. If your commander is here to build a Lotus turret yourself or pickets, you can prevent him from doing that. Yeah, and this is kind of a bad fight for you. You don't have enough daggers to engage. You should pull back further and wait for more dagger reinforcements. And maybe even try to lure the enemy into this Stardust turret. Like, that's the thing, you have the mobility advantage. If there's nothing here to protect, you can just pull back and wait for your numbers to grow and then attack once you have a few more numbers. If we look at that engagement, like, yeah. Actually, it was a decent engagement. About equal. Yeah, about equal, I'd say. Not too bad engagement. So I guess it wasn't too bad. And you finally managed to get your excess. Like, yeah, ATOSTIC also excess, because this map has a lot of metal. And yeah, so that's something at least. Like, you only accessed 300, what is that? Yeah, like 250 more metal than your enemies. So you're kinda even still. And you're pretty even still. So yeah. So your metal excess, thanks to ATOSTIC's metal excess, wasn't that bad. So yeah, what do you do when you want to go into something heavier against amphibots? I think scalpels are pretty good. I don't like maces too much, because if the enemy uses boys, yeah, you're gonna have some trouble against. Oh, and here again, you're kind of engaging kinda badly. Yeah, I don't like... You're trading pretty evenly, but yeah, if you can avoid it, you don't want to trade so evenly. Yeah, so... Like, scalpels can get overrun by ducks, but if you have some daggers as well there, or bolas... I mean, personally, I think bolas and daggers are pretty equal. Like, yeah. The thing is the range. Like, the ducks have much higher range. I guess you can... Yeah, that's the thing. Bolas has a bit more range, so it's almost equal range to the duck. That means that you can kind of skirmish the edges a bit, and it's fine. While the daggers have quite a bit less range. Not that much range, but still a bit less. Which means if you're gonna commit to a fight, you're gonna take a lot of incoming fire. And it's hard, like, while a bolas, yeah, it just needs to expose yourself a little bit to the enemy's fire. And can, like, skirt the edges, so... Going bolas when you're trying to defend this heavily would just... Yeah, I would mix in some bolas in this position. But more favorably, I would mix in some slower, like a mace or a scalpel in this position. The problem is they're slower, so you always want to keep a like kind of a reinforcement units, and also scalpels, you don't want them to be overrun by ducks. So yeah, either one you use maces with them, or you keep daggers and bolas in close contact, so they always have already to follow up with your units. So yeah, you can see here your traits, they have been decent with the daggers or ducks, so I'm not gonna say they were too bad. But the last one was pretty bad, so yeah. You lost a lot of daggers, but didn't do too much damage. And at this point, the enemy, like, you lost this con, I guess. You need to replace that ASAP and maybe get some Lotus turrets here or something to them. And yeah. And here, ATOSTIC is gonna use the advantage of these ducks while you're trying to go in against the Stinger. And yeah, that's pretty good by ATOSTIC getting in the jump on these units like that. That's a pretty good maneuver you were surprised by. Yeah. Like it neglected the range advantage maces had. And this is what can happen if you don't have daggers and or bolas readily available. Is that the enemy can like try to do these run-bys, and you're not. I guess these bolas should have been enough to take care of this, but you didn't react in time. That's the thing. Like if you don't get that kill, yeah, you're gonna lose 2 mexes here, and that's you have a con kind of close by, yeah. And the enemy is using bulkheads, that means basically light defense, and these are useless. And you're also losing this maze while not paying too much attention here. So you are losing out quite a bit. Decent units against bulkheads. Yeah, maze do. If they can get close to distance, I guess the Stinger is a problem. Like if the units retreat to the Stinger, you have a problem. But Scalpels do decently if they can just get in range and get some shots off and distract them with daggers and bolas. But yeah, you just didn't have your army in the right position here. Like the enemy is starting to pull ahead because you didn't manage to secure this position. Also, you're going for air. That's really a questionable choice, especially Ravens. There's nothing good here to bomb. You're losing the front quickly. Yeah, bulkheads are somewhat tricky to deal with because they have so much HP. And yeah, ATOSTIC is even reclaiming behind this. Wow, he really got a lot of these override going. But I don't think it will really have paid off. He paid like 6,000 for that. Yeah, and there's really nothing here worth the bomb, so... as hovers, you generally have a speed advantage, so going for a Thunderbird is good. Like imagine a Thunderbird against all this, you can choose to disarm these bulkheads or the ducks or the Stinger, and then you can follow up with Scalpels and maces, which are faster than bulkheads, and then also bolas and daggers. So yeah, Thunderburst is really something to consider in this matchup. Yeah, so if we look at total value here, when did it all start to go wrong? Like you had some decent engagement here with your daggers, but then you got a bad engagement, and you couldn't, and that was when you couldn't manage to secure this position. And then you started to slip behind, like at that point as well. Yeah, that was when you started to slip behind about. So I would I would suggest be more careful with your engagements. You could say your first two major engagements were pretty decent actually, with the daggers, but then the late one was bad, and that's what you want to avoid. Like you want to try to apply pressure where there's not defense. Like, look at this. You try to apply some pressure here, but yeah. But when it's a question like you have the mobility advantage, the enemy is in this position, and they don't really threaten any. I guess you didn't have these mixes at that point. That was a problem as well. You didn't really control these mixes. You had built Stardusts here and here. And that's also a thing, like your commander was back here building a Lotus turret that wasn't really necessary. Like you could have sent a Quill to do that, or you could just have sent daggers maybe. And instead, the enemy was killing the Stardust with his Stinger, with his Lotus turret. Your commander should have been here and contesting that. Like your commander pushing up this far with the enemy commander, allowing that. I guess it's a recon comp, so it's a bit faster. But yeah, you can also threaten this commander. The problem is it can jump up the hill, so yeah, I guess that's ATOSTIC. It was like here. But if you catch it out by coming in with like bolas here, for example, and slow down the recon commander and follow up in some dagger if these ducks are out of position, yeah, that's a real threat to these ducks. So yeah, I would try to be more careful with your dagger fights, and also contest. If the enemies come forwards like this, contest it with your own commander, so they can't just advance. You have a stronger commander with a guardian commander, so you can contest that decently well. But if you build a Lotus turret, yeah, you cannot kill the commander and the Lotus turret with just your commander. But you gotta stop him somehow. And then also, I would suggest a bit quicker switch to either maces or a few scalpels, especially if you want to pressure the commander. Like pressuring the commander with your own commander, which can protect against the ducks, is really good. Like you can 2 scalpels can one-shot a Lotus turret, and you can push forward with your commander and kill ducks so they can't overrun the commander. And then you can have like all these daggers out here doing weird stuff when you're pressuring the enemy commander, and they can like draw out the dax, or they can go around the dax going here or trying to go here. So like they can go here, or they can go here or here. So yeah, that's a thing with daggers. You have the mobility advantage. So yeah, it's ATOSTIC is a good player. So yeah, this is kind of advanced advice, but yeah, that is my advice. And don't try to build a few solar collectors here while you with your slow commander. You're gonna waste a lot of build power going there anyway. You can take a few seconds to just build a few solar collectors there. It's good. Anyway, good luck and have fun.